Theruvan Saranai. Today I think it's a unique day for me because I'm having someone here with me. I think it's like Alexander Dumas talking about the Three Musketeers. 20 years after, I'm meeting the former Chief Justice Sarath and Silva after 8 years, sir. And we are going to start on a Dhamma program. Again, what we left over, continuation from where we left off. That was way back in 2011 and almost 2011, 2012. And so we thought that we should, now it's a topical, with the COVID-19 it had become very topical, the Dhamma, the essence of Dhamma, how it has to be applied in daily life. And so to start off with, we know about Anicca, Dukkha and Anatma. What is Anitya, what is Dukkha, what is Anatma? Can you control this situation, the way out of it? And in relation to this, we have to talk about the Four Noble Truths. That's about the suffering, the emergence of suffering, the cessation and the way out of it. We have all learned about it some years ago, but I suppose now this is the time to refresh your mind. And with that, so I'm honored to have the former Chief Justice Sarath and Silva with us. And so here on we will talk about the Trilakshana, about the Dhamma, in fact pertaining to the Four Noble Truths, and then about the sense bases, there are 5 aggregates, so on and so forth. So let's start off today's program by just asking sir about the Trilakshana, the Anitya, Dukkha and Anatma. How important is this in our life? How do you figure out what is Anitya, what is Dukkha and what is Anatma? From there on, I suppose we will be able to get some idea as to how we should set about it in an environment like this, where the COVID-19 had been playing up, and affecting all our lives. So over to you, sir. How do you see this? Now we have, our lifestyles have changed, the education system, the whole social strata, the economy, everything. Now there is a decadence, there is a lot of uncertainty, suspicion about what the future is going to hold. So how do you apply Dhamma in this scenario, sir?
Thank you, Sudath, in the first instance for inviting me. You are putting the clock back. I think we started this whole process of Dhamma discussions in 2007, and did it for several years. Several years we discussed very, very important aspects. Then it was continued for some more time until my other commitments became too extensive. Now I think it is time. I think you have picked on the correct moment to get on to the Dhamma. Because people are now in a state of bewilderment. Yes. Now if I put it right, put it in one word, people are bewildered. People are bewildered and they don't know what is happening. There is so much of uncertainty. There is so much of uncertainty and they are groping in the dark. I think the key reason to this is the absence of the Dhamma, a proper understanding of the Dhamma. So I think you have hit the nail on the head. This is the time to drive home the truths that the Buddha taught so many thousands of years ago, that is 2,600 years ago. Now when you say what the Buddha taught, it is Buddha's thinking is not something of a divine nature. He doesn't rely on divine powers. Buddha emerges as a matter of universal law, natural force. Buddha is a natural force. So in the Mahapadana Sutra, you get the great lineage. So many Buddhas have been there in so many eons. So we have had Buddha Vipassi, like that it has gone on. And this is the fortunate eon where we have got the 4th Buddha, Buddha Gautama. So they discover truth that is there. That is there. The truth. Now all Buddhas set out in quest of to find an answer to the situation that we are facing now. Bewilderment. Bewilderment. Because Buddha's era there was a lot of philosophic views. People who thought of Sastraditya. There is a divine force that is guiding you to the end. Ucheditya, that this life begins and ends here, and so many. 62 views are set out in the Brahmajala Sutra of the Digha Nikaya. So Buddha vanquished all these views and said that this is a causal process, cause and effect process. And we are bound to this process because of one salient factor, craving, which follows up with clinging. If you have craving and clinging, this causal process goes on. Now, I have simplified the Dhamma to the very basic level. So, Buddhas find out that your whole this bewilderment is because of craving and clinging. Now, you raised the very person, we have discussed so many issues of the Dhamma, you raised with your wide knowledge and experience which you have followed up for many, many years, you are about Anitya, Dukkha, Anatma and the present state. The present state of bewilderment. We will take this as a people are bewildered. Actually, if you go and ask somebody, he says, I don't know what is going to happen. I don't know what is going to happen to my business. I don't know what is going to happen to my profession. I don't know what is going to happen the next day. I don't know what is going to happen to the court system. People asking how. So, fortunately, in retirement, I can stay back and not get involved. But it is not possible to disconnect yourself from society. I am quite comfortable here, this is in my surroundings, but it is difficult to disconnect yourself from society. We are members of a social group, and we have to bear in mind that we survive together, that there is no individual ego that has to, that is the very thing that Buddha struck down, ego. It is ego that leads to craving and clinging. Now, Sudath, Anitya, Dukkha, Anatma, it's a perfect, that is Buddha's realization. He found that what we take as Nitya, Sukha, Atma. Now, we take things as Nitya, we take things as permanent. Now, Sudath, the basic problem here is the world developed after the Second World War. The world developed. Now, you belong to a different generation than mine. The world developed at such a rapid pace because during the war, technological advances were fantastic. Technological advances directed at destruction. All these technological advances were for destruction, were fantastic. And they, from the time of President Clinton, I think they were used for other purposes. All these advances that were for destruction, computers, information technology, all were meant for destruction, were used for peaceful purposes, advanced, and world advanced to a point of luxury without limits, luxury without limits, on the basis that this is going to last, permanent, Nitya. Sukha. If it is going to last, I am going to last in this state of happiness forever. Then I am in control. Atma is I am in control. Or the divine being who is now behind me is in control and he has directed me to this. Divine being has given me all this. It's a bounty given. I enjoy that. So that is the Nitya Sukha Atman. Now, that is the thing that has got shattered, but Buddha shattered this 2600 years ago. He said nothing. Now, Buddha, Siddhartha was a prince in the kingdom of Sakya. It's a very beautiful, we have been there, I think many of us have gone there. The Sakya kingdom, Kapilavastu is one of the most beautiful places. These three palaces is reality. There are two palaces, one has been on top of. It's a real garden area even now, the Indian government has been. So, he was in this state of bliss and the father made sure that he won't go out to see the suffering outside. Correct. Otherwise, the soothsayers have said that he can become a Sambuddha or Sakvitraja. So, father was trying to direct him to this. So, he wanted to live in this Sukha. Nitya Sukha Atma. But Buddha realized that that is not my mission. So that's why he relinquished, he renounced everything and underwent Dushkara Kriya and found that even suffering to the body is also not an answer. Now, if you see, I have been to the place where he this Dushkara Kriya, Dungeshwari, you have been there, the cave. Absolutely. The story was that he was finally eating the leaves of that tree. I think the success of that tree is still there. So then he found that is also not the way. So he found the middle path. That's Arya Ashtanga Marga. And found from the middle path you can get out of this thing. Now the cocoon is Nitya Sukha Atma. Buddha found that this is Anitya, Dukkha, Anatma.
So now coming back, not coming back, in relation to that, now we talk about the six sense bases. Basically you have to control that. Now you are talking about now how one can get carried away into craving and clinging. Now this comes through the six sense bases, and sense bases, whereas you will be able to explain it better, sir. Now the eye, ear, the tongue, the tactical, the taste, that's the other six. But what I am saying is the mental faculty or manu, they call it vinyana, then the form, then the ear, the nose, you get all that, the six sense bases through which it gets you attracted into sound, then to taste and so on and so forth. Whereas mano or the chitta, that it creates where you can accept and absorb through symbols or sanya, as well as you have their own perceptions, which is limitless, the thoughts. And now what I am asking is, now when it comes to craving and clinging about the aspirations and Nitya Sukha Atma, out of the six sense bases, what do you have to control most? Because the mind, they say that can you call it a sense base? Whether the mind goes further than that, whether is it limitless? So is it the mind that you have to first control, or whether the other faculties do you have to control? Now I am just asking whether to put into place a personality. If I am a personality, and how should I react to this type of thing?
Yeah, very wide question, Sudath. I will try to answer. It has so many ramifications. No, now you got on to the six sense bases. What Buddha said, now the basic thing is how you get Nitya Sukha Atma is by taking this physical form with the senses that you were talking of as to be one entity. One entity. And where this ego, I, comes in.
Sakkayaditthi, that is.
Sakkayaditthi. That is etam mama. Buddha said etam mama. This is mine. Eso aham asmi. This is me. Eso attati. This is my atma. Now that is the belief that people have.
Correct.
Now Buddha broke down that and said netam mama. Neso aham asmi, na meso atta. There is no atta. So he said, this is not mine. This is not me. This is not my atma. Now you will ask, then what is it? That's a natural question. So
and some ask also, if it's not there, then why are you pursuing after the Nibbana? Because there is no person.
That's the thing. Now it is not there. What is there, Buddha said, is a process. It is a process. A process which is a causal process. Cause, effect, causal process. Causal process which goes on. Now Buddha's wisdom was, his insight wisdom was to find out what the cause was. If you don't eliminate the cause, you can never eliminate the effect. Now you take the COVID. If you don't eliminate, now that's the basic truth. Now cause is contact. Now if you take contact, the contact is now only they are talking in medical terms about contact. Buddha has defined contact into such infinite, such detail. And I can go on talking for several hours on contact.
On passa, that is.
On passa, on sparsha. Passa, sampassa, dhatu. So contact was the focal point of the Buddha. Contact. Now they are talking about contact. COVID is from contact. Yeah. That is what the Buddha said. COVID is from contact. So that is the cause. So you eliminate the cause. Then
The effect is gone.
virus is gone. So, what more truth? What more truth than that? Now, why people, the others say, now that has to be understood now. Now, medically we found out about contact. Buddha found out that we continue in samsara because of contact. We continue in samsara because of contact. All this suffering, that is, now when you say dukkha, it is not a negative philosophy. Buddha never said that there is no contentment. Buddha is a person who said santutti paramandanam. Contentment is the greatest wealth.
Because the people tend to misunderstand
the
that.
basic truth, basic things Buddha said was they forget about. Arogya parama labha. Good health. Now they know. Good health is the greatest asset. Not your 7-star hotels, not your air-conditioned comforts, nothing, but good health. Now, if you have been having good health and free of COVID, living under a tree in some forest,
You're unaffected, unfazed.
Totally at peace. So, Buddha said, good health. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the basic truth? Now, what are we in quest of? Health. What are we in quest of?
And that has overshadowed everything else.
And that's why Buddha said, Parama Labha, the greatest blessing you can have is good health. So, this is not a negative philosophy by any means as this.
Some Pandits tend to say that
yes.
Dukkha Dukkha means dukkha. There is
Yeah,
no sukha.
yeah, no. This is sukha. This is what happens. He took the basics. You must have good health. That is the greatest blessing. Then santutti, you must have contentment in what you do. Contentment. Everything santutti paramandana. Vishwasa paramanyati. Now you must have trustworthy. Now we have had a relationship for so long. That is because we trust each other. You don't do anything to harm my interest behind my back, and I certainly won't do that. So we have got on. We have got on without any problem for many years. And still, if there is a problem, you speak to me. And I will call you. If I was building a Dhatu Mandiri, I had a problem with regard to some financing aspects, I spoke to you. So you speak to me. So my wife Dhamma died. I spoke to you. Died. So I
spoke to you that morning to get some advice. What to do? Then you told me.
Yeah, we shared.
That last 3 weeks ago.
1 month. 1 month ago.
I lost my mother and you lost your wife.
Yeah, and in perfect in the Damayanti was really worshipping the Buddha at the time she died, like this, clasped hands, even in the coffin hands were like this. So that is perfect faith, absolute faith. Now that is just by the way. Now I was telling you about this. So Vishwasa Parama Jnati. Now we, in times of need, we contact each other because we trust each other. Then Nibbanam Paramasukha. That is the ultimate. That is the ultimate. But these three are worldly. These three must be there. So
that is Laukika and Lokottara.
Yeah, that is right. One is Lokottara. One is Lokottara. But that doesn't mean that the Buddha did not place sufficient significance on good health. Buddha did not place sufficient significance on contentment. Buddha did not place sufficient emphasis on good, trustworthy relationships. We emphasize those things. Those are the things that are lacking in this world. The mistrust, the degree of mistrust that is there is so sad amongst the nations. See the way they accuse each other. Absolutely no sense of, no trust. One is accusing the other. So these basic things Buddha address on the Lokiya level, Laukika. So it is not, this dukkha is not, then if everything is dukkha, why did Buddha mention these three things? Because you can have good health, you can have contentment, you can have good relationship, but on the basis that good health is not going to last forever. That is anitya. Good health is good as long as you can prevent the causes which bring about illness. Now you go out and behave like a fool, you get COVID. So as long as you prevent the causes, you have good health. As long as you take exercise, you won't be subject to heart attacks. As long as you don't eat rich food, you won't be subject to diabetes. So you eliminate the causes. And now what has happened today, Sudath, is you don't go into the cause. Now you have diabetes, you eat all, there are the food outlets that are called cravings.
Cravings, yes.
You go and eat all that, and then you have diabetes, you have a health trial and go to the hospitals and they have special programs. So that is what happens. So you have to eliminate these causes. So if there is some mistrust, you must also eliminate that mistrust. That is also very important. Otherwise you can't do this. People must know there can be certain circumstances that encounter mistrust. We must eliminate those things. So this worldly life, Buddha didn't say this. So this is dukkha here. I think I wrote it out and I read it to you before. Liability to suffering. Dukkha here is not suffering in that song. Dukkha is unsatisfactoriness. It is not. It is liability to suffering. You are liable to suffer. So guard yourself. That is the worldly way.
And the next one is the link to that is anitya.
Yeah, that's right.
So then it can shift.
It can
turn
shift.
to good, it can turn to bad. So the COVID-19 also will turn around and there will be a vaccine found or there will be some sort of solution to this. Then it will turn to the good. But then that will also change again with some other virus. Or already the virus is also changing also.
They get mutated. Everything gets, that is anitya. Virus is also anitya. now they seem to think that virus is nitya. Virus is brought about by causes. And if the cause is eliminated, then that will cease to affect. Now we have had so many illnesses. Those days when I was small, typhoid was necessarily fatal. Now today it's not even heard of. Tuberculosis was necessarily fatal. Today is not even heard of. It is heard of, but of course under severe control. Smallpox was deadly, eliminated altogether. Polio amongst children was deformity for life, eliminated altogether. So these are all maybe some of them are bacteria, some of them are viruses. One of these two fellows are there, no? Or in between you get cholesterol and various other things also coming in. So that is why the Buddha said there is no permanence in this. This is anitya. This is ever changing. This is ever changing. Don't expect this nitya, sukha and atma. So when you take nitya, sukha, atma, you get into this cocoon. You get into this cocoon and something happens. This is a virus. Last Easter, we had a bomb. Now that is not a virus. That also devastated. As far as Sri Lanka is concerned, the effect was far more devastating than this. Far more devastating than this. So many deaths. And no spiritual force could prevent that. That is the truth. I'm not.
There is no divine presence in that sense.
No way.
Godly presence or whatever. Atma to.
No Atma to control. Now, that time people were in absolutely blissful state in those luxury hotels. They are enjoying a buffet. And breakfast buffet is something that all enjoy in hotels. So, enjoying hotel when you are blasted to smithereens. Blasted to smithereens with the food that you are eating. So that is why Buddha, this dukkha is liability to suffering. When the man entered that hotel and checked in, put his credit card down, that is also a debit card. Liability to suffering. That is what is. So it is not a negative philosophy at all. It is a very positive philosophy, a realistic philosophy that the Buddha said. Now I had to get to your 6 sense bases, because you started off with this.
Because people are finding it difficult to withdraw from it. What I feel is now people are working from home. Now you are losing touch, contact. Your psyche is changing. Now how to come to terms with it? So that type of things has now how do now they are going after the same inclination that one had with the sense bases to satisfy those. But now it's changing. So it's very difficult for somebody, the stress upon them. In fact, I was also talking to you, sir, just before that about the post-COVID situation. Then what is going to happen there? So the disorders that might come across psychologically. So how can we sort of, with the sense basis, how can we guard ourselves, protect ourselves?
Now, basically, Sudath, now we have explained this aspect of the matter. Now the sense basis. Now it's a long discussion. I think in our program
we can
continue. We'll develop at a later point. The Buddha said that these are what we take as me and mine is a psychophysical process. There is a physical and a mental process. It is a Nama Rupa. We'll describe that in great detail later on. Nama Rupa, and which operates through this sense basis.
So you take, just to interrupt you, sir, Nama, form is the Rupa, Nama is the other mental faculties.
Mental faculties. Those are the 5 aggregates that we take as mind. It is not aggregates, it's a process. It is a process. Only some of them are working. Buddha described this just for purposes of clarity. This is a process. There are 4 of the 5. One is corporeal, what you can see here. Others are mental.
That's the Nama Rupa. Then the sense bases come.
Sense bases are the Nama Rupa operates through this sense basis. This is the nucleus. This is the nucleus. This operates through this 6 sense bases.
So one can't stand alone without the other.
Now Buddha's Nibbana is how you separate. So that consciousness, now at the time of moment of death, what has is your Chuti-Chitte, which descends into another womb, another place, and another process starts. Once again, 5 aggregates in a different setup, karmically evolving process. That is the law. These are all laws of nature.
Paticca comes in.
Yeah, karma is also nature, law of nature. Buddha merely understood that there is a force called karma. So he said it's a niyama dharma. Even he can't stop that karma, because the universe has evolved over millennia, and these forces also have gone. Niyama dharmas are there, climate, all these things are niyama dharmas. So bija niyama, kamma niyama, chitta niyama. There are 4 niyama dharmas. The mind also works. It's a niyama dharma. Mind also works in a particular order. Then there is Dhamma niyama. So mind also works in a certain order. Now this Nama Rupa is the nucleus. Now Nama Rupa operates because consciousness. Now consciousness also Buddha says is not one entity. Otherwise you get into Atma situation. Consciousness is also arising from causes. Consciousness also arises. There is eye consciousness. There is nose consciousness. There is ear consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and mind consciousness. 6. You get 6 types of consciousness.
So that is 6 into 2, no? So that is what you are saying is consciousness and the external thing also comes.
No. That's the nimitta. That's the nimitta.
Yeah. It's basically
now if you take we'll describe this very much more later on.
Correct.
In the Madhupindika Sutra, that is he said it's a honey ball. Buddha said this is like put it in a honey ball. It says Chakkuncha paticca rupecha uppajjati chakku viññānam tinnang sangati passo passa paccaya vedana tam vedeti tam vitakketi tam vicharati tam prapancheti. Now Buddha said this is Madhupindika, it's a honey ball. So the eye focuses on a Chakkuncha paticca rupe, form. uppajjati chakku viññāna. Now the chakku viññāna comes, eye consciousness comes. This is a
When you
form.
see a-
Form. Now this is a form that I like. I don't want to say what forms you like. You might throw the same ball at me. But you identify, this is the person I have seen there also. Now this is the same thing. Normally you perceive what you like to perceive. So that is why Buddha says perception is always an illusion. Because you perceive, you see what you want to see, not actuality. Not actuality, you see what you want to see. So, uppajjati chakku, then consciousness. Now, consciousness is now arises. Then, tinnan sangha, then you get contact. Now, passo is contact. Now, you are talking of contact in a different way. But that is their contact. Then there is Vedana, then there is, you see a nice form, you feel happy, you want, that is how this craving and Tinnan Tangati Pasapatya Veda, Tam Vitakke, then you start thinking about it. It's a very natural process, this everyday experience. You start thinking about, I have seen this person there, today the person is dressed in such and such a way, this is different, she has age, she has young, all. Or food. This is something like, it's a nice icing layer, chocolate, or so on and so forth. Then, whatever it is, food smell, nice food, it's a biryani, or whatever steak, depending on it. So, then, tang vitakke, then vichariti, then it discurses, then you start thinking only about that. And prapancha. Then you get proliferation. Then your mind is totally divorced from reality. Now this is the state we are in. Nitya Sukha Atma. So now you have to be realistic. This is how it started. By seeing that form only I got. So that's why Buddha said in the Vaya Sutra, Ditte Ditta Mattam Bhavishyati. What you see, let it be there. Don't take that into your mind. Now if that form was left as it is, you have no problem.
Yeah. You proliferate on that.
Don't proliferate, no. Ditte ditta mattam bhavishyati. Sute suta mattam bhavishyati. What you hear, let it be. Now so many people call me. I said, Sute suta mattam bhavishyati. Let that be with the person who scolds. Mute mutta mattam bhavishyati. Let feel him be where it is. Bodily contact. All other things are contact, no?
Correct.
Yeah. All that the mind, everything is contact. So in the Bhaya Sutra he has said that, let it be where it is. Don't take that in. If you don't take that in, there is no problem. Now what has happened is we are taking this electronic media, we are also through electronic media. Now this same, I think we are having this time for that, but you have to bring it to some kind of arrangement or something. Now I have a nice book of world history, I can show you. My library, I have data section of the world history. Now you say epidemics. I read about the epidemics. Spanish flu in 1918, 20 million died. Now that is soon after the First World War. And the figure of casualties by the Spanish flu was more than the figure of casualties of the First World War. So that also proliferated in this Mediterranean region. Even the present COVID is most prevalent in that area. In Europe, if you take, it spread fastest in that area. So maybe the climatic conditions or human relations, they are very warm people, no? They gather together, they sing together. Maybe that kind of proximity also accounts for it. But whatever it is, world got over that. People got over that. You know, they were not weeping over the World War or the Spanish flu. Now, two blows, not one blow, two blows came. One after the other. And the world established itself. So much so that they could fight another war. Second World War started. They could fight another war. You fight wars when you are strong, no? Hitler came, he became so strong that he started another war.
Within 20 years it happened.
Within 20 years it happened. So he built up a war machine in that 20 years. So these things are natural phenomena. We had a tsunami, devastating tsunami in 2004. I myself went. In one day, I buried 1,500 people because they said they want magisterial orders to bury the people who died in the southern province. So I took magistrates and went there. I said, now bury. 1,500. We dug. There was a backhoe. We dug for each grave. We put 50, 100 like that. But some wisdom told me at that time. Mr. Sudath, Secretary Justice, was with me. We are the people who managed this whole thing. Later on, various people came and took over. Really built a monument, not in the place where we buried.
Oh.
So, some act of wisdom came about at that time, and I said, dig the graves on the seaside, so that it won't contaminate the water. That is some wisdom that comes. And later on, someone said, scientifically, that's the best, because salt.
Oh, already that's been debated on certain other issue,
Yeah.
like whether it should be buried or not. That's a different thing.
No.
But the thing is that the seepage.
Seepage. So now there are people who came. I said, if you want, you can take the body. It's there. They said, no, bury the way you are doing this. So all over we buried. All over we buried like that. There was no problem. Number of deaths was phenomenal.
So what you are saying is, sir, that we are resilient enough to
We are resilient enough. We recovered from that. And at some point, we got the southern area developed. Someone put a board one day when I used to go there regularly, because we issued identity cards, we did death certificates, all these things we did. Ping Vatura Ayatend, because they were getting so much of resistance. So someone has scrolled the board. Ping Vatura, people rushed there with it and everything. So we are resilient enough, we can get over this. Only thing is, today the media has given a huge hype to this. Media, a death in New York is like a death here. So if you ask a person, you say, in New York the death rate is so much. Well, New York's death rate, President Donald Trump will look after. Why are we worried about it? We look after. We have 7. So no,
7 deaths.
7. That Navy officer died of rat fever, not of COVID. So we have 7 deaths. So we have to think positively. Don't take risk. Don't take contact.
Contact is the most important thing.
Now contact is what Buddha says, no? The Buddha says, don't have unnecessary contacts. What you see, keep it there, don't go and impress that person. So, like that, you cut off that. But get back to your normalcy. Get back to your normalcy with these safeguards, because there are sufficient safeguards. Get back to normalcy, because this is anitya. The virus is also will get mutated, and probably, if I see things right, it will become like a common cold.
Yeah, in time to come.
In time to
but
come.
At the same time, sir, the change of life, living like without trying to spend, more like it's more on austerity, that you're leading a charm life, that type of thing. Now the people are beginning to think that way as well, not to run after the the attractions or the the cravings that were coming through their sense perceptions.
You are hitting the nail on the head, Sudath. That Nitya Sukha Atma concept has got now diminished, and that's a very, very positive thing. Very positive development from this. People know that they can't live in this cocoon. It's a cocoon. People know that they can't live in this cocoon. Nitya Sukha Atma has gone off. So you have to lead a more frugal, more simple lifestyles. Austerity should be the hallmark of existence, because that is a nice life. Now I told you, if you are living under a tree in some cave in a forest, you won't have someone meditating. There are meditating monks. You can ask them, there is COVID. He said, what is it? I don't know. I have never heard of it. I am thinking of anitya dukkha anatma. So that's your austerity, simplicity of lifestyles, this extravagance, all this should cut down, because the thing is, you must get out of this Nitya Sukha Atma concept and know that there is liability to suffer. Don't get so disappointed and say, my son has no future, my daughter has no future, my grandchildren have no future. Don't think of that. Yeah, there is liability to suffering. There is something can break out. something can break out. But my strength is in the resilience. I must have sufficient resilience to sustain that, but have my ultimate goal that I have to control my sense basis. Now I get back to your question. I know how to, now you have to control it. I have more or less indicated that now. This is Chakkuncha paticca rupecha uppajjati chakku vinnana. Tinnan sangati passo. Don't have so much of contact. Passa pacchaya vedana. When there is vedana, you feel happy or sukha or something like that, you know, this is because of that contact. Now that is not me or mine. That is some other person. So have that. When you have that in mind, then your lifestyle becomes slightly different. You can work towards higher goals because you can have good health. That is what Buddha said. Arogya paramalabha. You can have contentment. You can have contentment. Now I functioned for 50 years, for 40 years as a public judge. I retired with absolute contentment. And later on someone asked me, are you going to prepare to hold on office? I said, what office? Now offices are finished. Offices are closed for me. Never in my sansaric existence I hope I won't have to do this. This is not Uchedavadi. But I know the level of responsibility what is there. You know, every day in 10 years as Chief Justice was every day was something which is a challenge. It's a daily thing because you know the kind of opposition I face now. You know very much because we did these programs at that time. I think that is the strength that I had. I was able to hear the cases in the morning and discuss the Satipatthana Sutta with you in the evening. So that is the strength because I had this sense of balance. This simple house is where I lived in as Attorney General, as Chief Justice, President of everything. I always sweep the road outside my house. So that everybody in the neighborhood knows. Even as Chief Justice, I sweep. That's good exercise. Still I sweep. So that is good exercise. So you have to get your life into a line. It's a nice orderly line without having this exuberance. Now the today's world is a commercial world. If you look at the papers, you get cruises advertised from the North Pole to the South Pole. Now don't see those things. People must do business also. See those things, but don't get attracted. Sense bases. Control your sense bases. Buddha said there are 6 sense bases: eye, nose, ear, tongue, body, mind. Mind is a thing that all these things go one at a time. Now, what your eye sees, your nose won't smell. That is why Buddha said they are distinct. Now, I'll give you a small example. You see some nice food on the, you get a nice smell also, but you taste it, it will taste horrible. So, these 3 sense bases work differently because there are 3 different types of consciousness. Now, you see a nice food, it smells nice, but you taste it, it has too much of salt, it has no system, nothing. So, same way, everything is changing.
So the mind here also plays a pivotal role, no? So because it's limitless, they say, but I can remember you telling in one of your previous programs, the mind travels out and then it comes back into you. What's that? Guhan. That is the Guhasayang.
Ekacharan, Durang
Gamang Ekacharan Guhasayang. Yeah.
So
because I quoted something else, Tinnan Sangati Pasu.
That's what I said today.
The Rupa and how it gets into contact. So now that if you can sort of elaborate a little bit on that.
Now mind, I think that's a good point to. Now all these sense bases, they work and they flow into the mind.
Others are all restricted, no? So
no, others are restricted. Now it begins with the mind. The process is when you have this contact, Uppati Chakku Viññāna, then there is Avarjana Chittaya. The 17 thought moments arise. Avarjana. Dvaya bhavanga. Now that is how you identify that object. Now this is the form that I have seen is not in the eye. It comes from the bhavanga chitta. This
Some
is
call it the subconscious, what you had nurtured in previous lives.
no. There is this subconscious. This is a Freudian concept.
Freudian concept.
It is the bhavanga chitta. Bhavanga chitta means that is the chitta with which you commence this bhava. Bhava anga, this birth. And it is a chitta that started from the previous birth. So the last thought has brought along with that here.
Those traits are there.
Those traits are there. Those traits are there. That's what you say. You must first identify your traits. And when they are bad traits, get rid of those things. Because finally your death moment, it's a trait that conditions the chuti chitta. That's very important. So this bhavanga chitta gets avajjana. Then it comes up. Then the 17 thought movements, Buddha has described this each one separately, 17 thought movements of the mind, how it works. And then you get the javana, where the active. That is a place where you make karma. So there are 7 javana chittas. 7 javana chittas.
Seventh one only propels you.
Yeah, then it, no, for every kind of thing you get this. Then
you can call it
chittaviti, 17 chittavitis. In every thought process you get this. But in a death moment, it goes on to the other one. Because there is, in this thought, in the mind element, you get what is called the jivita indriya. So one skips to the other. That is the one that goes on skipping to the other.
Starts off, what you say is the sense bases are there.
That's right.
So if you take the eye or the nose, the smell, that gets into your thought process, like to the mind.
Mind, that is the bhavanga chitta.
Bhavanga chitta. Then mind evokes whatever the traits that you have brought about.
That's right.
Then that gives you a kick to either to craving and clinging that spurs you to do that.
That is how the thing goes on.
So then the mind goes out and then comes back in.
No, that is where the mind is on its own. Mind can operate on its own also. Without now each of these 5, mind is not necessarily dependent on those other 5. Mind can go on its own. You are daydreaming. How many people? You talk to the man, his mind is somewhere else. So from here you can go. Those are called chitta rupa. Now we do that when we worship. We worship the Ruangali Saya from here. I do that every day. So you can, so mind goes out and comes back. That is why it says, Durangamang ekacharan. But mind goes on its own. Mind doesn't take the eye and things. Mind will pick up the way it wants. So that is why it says it's a mirage always. Mind will pick up the way it wants. And mind will think, so and so, such and such a place is a beautiful place, I can go there. Now all those things are mind-made. Those are mind-made. Those are all mind-made. And that is where this Nitya Sukha Atma comes really in the faculty of the mind. In the faculty of the mind. The eye and things don't make they only contribute. Various other organs contribute. The mind is a thing that creates this final perception of this thing. And that is why Buddha said, Mano pubbangama dhamma, mano setta manomaya, manasache paduttena, basativa, karotiva, tatonam dukkha samangveti. Mano pubbangama dhamma, second gata, mano setta manomaya, manasache pasannena. Now if you, first one is you with a bad thought, then dukkha mangveti. Like the cart wheel following the ox. The cart, you took an example of a cart. Now ox runs, the cart wheel goes behind. So that is where paduttena, pasannena, if you act with a nice, good thought, then it follows you like the shadow. Now shadow doesn't darabara and come behind. The shadow comes whether you like it or not. This is all. So all the good things that you follow you like your shadow, and you are going to get the benefit of it, but you won't have the burden of it. So that's why we said, do as many good things as possible. Now this COVID thing is a situation where people can help others. Really it is necessary. We can, a lot of people should help others. Don't lay off people unless it is absolutely essential. You can cut salaries, but don't do that. You try to make, we try to innovate and try to get out of this situation through collective action. So don't do this, because those are all the good things that you do. Now after the tsunami we did so many good things. After the war we did so many good things. So be as magnanimous as that. Don't be frightened. Don't look at the world news and say there are so many deaths, so many deaths, so many there. When we had 30,000 deaths here, who thought about us? When he had so many deaths in the war, who thought about us? They contributed to that. So why should we look after ourselves? We are an island. If we keep our all these people who came from outside, no, this is not an endemic disease of Sri Lanka. That is the final thing. This is not endemic to Sri Lanka. Somebody has come from outside, someone in the conference or somebody did something, they behave like idiots. That's the worst thing. They behave like idiots. And what about the situation? We can get over this. I think Sri Lanka can be a country that can get over very fast if we think positively the Buddhist way. But not to this kind of extravagance. Don't think of extravagance. Think of how you build up a solid base for future existence on the Dhamma way.
So what you say is the Dhamma will protect you. If you
Dhamma will protect you, and finally you will have some satisfaction. That is contentment. That is contentment in the Dhamma way.
Is it, sir, through understanding or by suppressing your feelings? So that's the other thing. Now, Buddhist way of the Dhamma, is basically, sir, not to suppress, but to get rid of those cravings and claim through analyzing yourself, like why am I like this, why are you doing this, can you add something, sir? We have about 2 minutes more just to...
Yeah, that's of course a deep thing now. You go to now how this tanha works. Now this is craving is tanha, no?
Correct.
How this tanha works is, in the Satipatthana Sutta we'll deal with that. Long years ago we did that. Satipatthana Sutta. It says, Piya Rupang Sata Rupang. Ette se tanha uppajamana uppajati nimisimana nivisiti. When you get nice form, Piya Rupang, beautiful form, desirable form, not only physical, everything. That is where tanha arises. Then it arises, uppajamana uppajati nimisimana nivisiti. Now you must understand that tanha is arising in your mind. That is the main thing. Otherwise Buddha won't say that first. No? He first puts that. Then say, pahiyamana pahiyati nirujjamana niruyati. You diminish that. You diminish it. Pahiyamana is make it less effective. And nirujjamana, I have this weakness. Take it out. Take it out. So, altogether. So that is why Buddha first says where you go into error.
Yeah.
And then it says so. So Buddha's thing is a constant guide. When you are walking, when you are going, when you are seeing things, if the Buddha is your guide, you will never fall into any of these things. I am speaking of experience.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ping, sir. So today it brings us to an end of the first Dhamma program that we had, and I guess that next time round, because we have to extend our thanks to Mr. Shanukram Singh, Chairman of TNL, and next time round that we hope to bring him also to discuss about this Dhamma, in the essence of Dhamma, because where he used to contribute, can you remember way back it was like that. So, and today of course it was very enlightening, sir, and it was very fruitful, and it was my pleasure to be with you in your company, because we learned the Dhamma, and as sir said, both of us had some sort of setback within the last month, and through that also sir had guided me to a great extent as to how to come out of certain situations by applying the Dhamma. And for every one of us, I think the present situation itself is a setback for all of us, keeping aside our personal the adversities that we had to face. So I think that this of course will be very enlightening, and we hope to see you next week at the same time. And thank you once again, sir, and thank you for being with us. Good night.